October 29th, 1929, Black Tuesday happened. Stock markets crashed abruptly, companies went bankrupt, people lost their jobs, and the U.S. money supply decreased. This is the beginning of the Great Depression. In 1933, Franklin D. Roosevelt became president and quickly tried to help the U.S. through the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt's endeavor through these problems had positive impacts. In response to the conundrum of the Great Depression, Roosevelt created the New Deal. This was his idea for stabilizing the country. The New Deal created many opportunities for people in need. The New Deal is comprised of experimental projects and programs. These aimed at restoring economic stability to the U.S. population. Some programs, like the CCC, NLRA, or the FHA. Once there was a man named James. James was a businessman that dispersed a lot of money into stocks, and he lost it all. James was unmarried and had no kids. He went the effects of the CCC, the NLRA, and the FHA. The CCC stands for the Civilian Conservation Corps. They give jobs to unmarried men. These jobs also help the environment, so each man had equal benefits. James stayed at the CCC for a while. As soon as he was able to stabilize his life, he quit and got a real job. Due to James's background, he was adept in the ward of business and workforce, so he was invited to be on the NLRA board. NLRA stands for National Labor Relations Act. The NLRA protected the rights of employees and employers, encouraged collective bargaining, and curtailed certain private sector labor and management practices, which can harm the general welfare of workers, business, and the U.S. economy. James had a great time with the NLRA. He was so ambitious, the NLRA made amazing progress. With help of the Wagner Act, they established the NLRA board. James had fun with the NLRA, but didn't have good pay. He wasn't affluent. He had to get help from the FHA. James recently met a girl named Margaret, so now he has to financially take care of her also. The FHA stands for Federal Housing Administration. This organization aided many Americans and helped them live in comfortable homes. These homes were in cities and suburbs. No one wanted to live where the Dust Bowl was happening. The Great Depression was a very stressing time. These three organizations brought a relief to people like James and Margaret. Everyone needed an abundant amount of help. Thankfully, Franklin Roosevelt and the government stepped in. The CCC, NLRA, and FHA assisted a lot of great people. These organizations aren't the only ones that helped. There were many others. The CCC was the most prosperous New Deal program of the Great Depression. It existed for fewer than 10 years. It left a legacy of strong roads, bridges, and buildings throughout the U.S. Between 1933 and 1941, more than 3 million men served in the CCC. The FHA helped a lot of people throughout the discriminated time. Till this day, the FHA is still helping families get homes and mortgages. The NLRA was established in 1935 and still protecting the rights of the employees. It is now known as the National Labor Relations Board. Employees were very appreciative of this. The Great Depression ended in 1939. The people were grateful of FDR and his New Deal. James lived a great life with Margaret. Even though money was limited, they managed a good life and bad kids. The economy was beginning to boom, and World War II was about to start, which was expedient to general welfare, but not to the ones who lost loved ones. The Great Depression ended and life was great until James got drafted when the U.S. entered World War II. James was a great war hero at Pearl Harbor where he saved dozens of men. James died serving his country. Margaret was so devastated she became impassive. The war ended and James's legacy was carried through his oldest son, William, in the Korean and Vietnam War. Margaret carried on living her life as a senile old lady.